Okay, so I am doing the post-tournament commentary. I recorded a video before the event with me going through all of the armies, discussing them, and who I thought was going to win as I was building out my bracket. Now, a couple of things. As you can probably see from that, this is already going to be a long video. So I am going to try and just spend to get my way through some things. I will be pulling up the games, and I will be taking a look and seeing kind of what I can do about them and what we can kind of view about them to sort of uh, get a feel for how things kind of went and stuff. This might end up being a very long video, but hopefully it doesn't take too much time, and we can get started here. I think I spent a little bit too much time on some of the earlier armies, and so if I seem to have rushed through your army in the later stuff, I apologize. Anyway, and I know at one point I pull up I leave it on the wrong side of things for a while. Anyway, let's get started. After I chat with things, I'm gonna give any sort of after I go through an army, I'm gonna sort of just let myself talk, and then I will give my and possibly some thoughts on the matchup itself, and give any thoughts that I can. Uh, let's get to it. Hi, so we are doing a CCL analysis. Um, how what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going through the bracket, talking about each army, and what my thoughts are on the army, what I like about it, what I dislike about it, what I think it's, and then when the actual in the actual matchup, like what I think, who I think is going to win, and we'll build the bracket out. And so, now, if you are watching this after the fact, there's probably going to be future me chiming in with thoughts and information about the actual tournament itself that will be seeing how right or wrong I actually was. So, without further ado, let's get started. I've opened up the bracket. I have all the armies set up here in my browser, but I also have all the brackets set up in GIMP because I will be editing the bracket that was given to us with my own suggestions on who I think is going to win. So we're going to start at the very top left, work our way down on the left side, then do the same thing on the right side, and then once we do that, we'll basically go do that again, but for the second round, third round, and all that stuff. So let's get started. Um, so the first set of matchups are sheep versus morsbane. So we'll start with sheep. Now, sheep's army, if you look at what we have here, sheep is playing, let me see, right here. Asamu, Mar. So quick note from me, did not realize that my sound mixing is set up on two different it seems to be set up on two different setups. I don't know. It's too weird. I'm sorry to deal with the differing sound qualities. My bad. It's probably going to be on this video too. I'm sorry. Um, I don't know how to fix it at this point. I'm sure I might figure out eventually, but hard to say. Hounds X4 Sergeant Drake, and then that's the Swarm Drake. The um, sideboard has Bull, Marku Isamu, Maro Stingers X2, and a single rate Swagan Raider. I believe that is the technical correct pronunciation. It's been a minute since I've used them in D&D. Um, so, a couple of things about this. Just to reiterate, this format is basically 550 points, and you're given a 200-point sideboard that you can swap in as you like. Now, things I like about this build is that hounds are really solid. They cut through a lot of high defense stuff. They can be very hard to kill. And 3 attacks of 3 is not nothing. they're able to output a lot of stuff, and they hold their own against a lot more things than you think they will. And Swarm Drake is honestly one of the better anti-range units in the game. He's a bit expensive for that, but he also straight up just can't be attacked from range. Now, Swarm Drake also has a big attack. Yank, he can yank himself closer to people for him to be uh, affected in such a way that so um, the sideboard has Mars Stingers. Stingers are very good, just in general. Only six of them is a little bit light. Uh, Now, if I remember right, so let's pull up VC Delta. So, what are the ways that he's thinking about playing this? So, if I'm right, yeah, Squad of Hounds is 95 points. Now, Stingers, if I'm right, are 75. So, yeah. So if you want to bring in, and Drake is 145. So, and Stingers are so what that means, here we go. All right, so what that's going to do as far as all of this is that it is going to um, uh, if he wants to swap in Stingers, he's got to get rid of 2x Stingers means he's got to swap out Drake and Asamu, so he'd have to bring in like Bull for 2x Stingers. Would that put him over the limit? It would put him one figure over the limit. It is. Oh no, it wouldn't. It's 20 figures, so because you'd have 12 here, 6 here, 18, 19. If you did Bull or the Raider. So in that voice, I think the Raider is slightly better unless there's like a large figure that might be around in the end game, but I don't think that's true for most cases. Um, Marku, I think, is I'm not really sure how he can really swap in Marku without hurting some of his other stuff. Like, yeah, or maybe he drops a squad of hounds or something. Like, I don't, I don't know how easy it's going to be for him to sideboard in some of this stuff. The base build I like. I think the weakest thing is that I don't, and hounds don't have great matchups into some things. They can kind of hold their own against they can hold their own against most armies. Anyone playing Soulborgs, the Hounds are in a lot of trouble. And the other thing that is an issue for Hounds, Hounds will also not be great into Templar. They won't be great into Thar, any of that stuff. So, like, the things that Hounds are good into, Drake doesn't counter all of those. But, like, that Drake's a decent counter to Cathar, but, like, Uh, how many Glad Blasts is he gonna kill if he fight Glad Blast? Um, so and I think that and the other issue with Margin Hounds is that you potentially run into getting some really bad rolls on their movement, and that can absolutely sink you in ways that will really hurt. Overall, though, I really like this basic build as far as what's going on here. I think it plays pretty well into a lot of different builds. I'm not quite sure about the sideboarding just because I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to sideboard in the pieces that you want. Drake takes so much of a uh, because Drake takes up so much of the army that I think it's going to be a bit tricky for him to swap in these other stuff. Now that we've talked a little bit about Sheep's build, let's look at Morsbane, because that's the other person in the build here. Morsbane is playing Okay, so this is basically gladiators. So he's got 3 squads of Capelons, Crixus, Dumatef, Spartacus, an Achillean Gladiatrix, and single squad of Capelons and Mara Warriors. So this is a very basic, very straightforward build. Um, and it's rule of 12, which means that gladiators hit like a truck. I don't think you can swap in that second squad of gladiators without. Because Dumatef Guard is only 15 points, and the Achillean Gladiatrix is 40, right? Or 35? She's 30. So 45 points, and another squad of gladiators is 65. So you'd have to drop probably Crixus, which I don't love. But really, I think if you're doing this, you're essentially dropping like Crixus and a Dumatef from our warriors, which I don't know if I love that as much, but yeah, again, the sideboard feels a little hard to deal with here. So the army though is really solid. Like I like all of the pieces to it. The Dumatef is just basically fill you out. Uh, yeah, I just think you're going to have trouble putting in either the Force Squad of Capelons or Mara Warriors without really hurting your army. And I don't know that Mara Warriors help you that much. I almost feel like if you're going Capelons and they're currently at 65, right? Yeah. I feel like it almost would have been better to go Krav here, just because, well, I don't know if I guess, yeah, you can swap out Mara Warriors directly for Crixus, because Crixus should be 105, right? Um, or is Crixus 110 or 115? Da, 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 da. He's not 95, is he? Where are you? Ah, there he is. So he's straight 100. Okay, so you do have to swap out something else, which, yeah, I don't love that. And maybe 4x is gonna, but yeah. So it's a solid build. I do think again, I don't love how the sideboarding is gonna have to play around with it. I feel like you're gonna have to make some choices you're not exactly thrilled about. But I fully suspect that morsbane actually won't sideboard in any of his units. He needs as many gladiators as he can get. Um, uh, and uh, Drake, like adding in Mara Warriors when the guy has Drake, it's not a great call. So who do I think wins between Papawans now versus Hounds? Papawans are basically getting 3 attacks of 4, and then Crixus is throwing an attack of 6. That can cut through the Hounds pretty quickly, and even Drake. Like in the end game, Drake is normally a beast with that 6, but like Spartacus is no joke. Spartacus is almost the exact same sort of thing, and if there's any Capelons running around, the Gladiatrix gives him a little bit of range in that. Let me see if there's a size restriction on the Gladiatrix. Smaller, medium. So, okay, so the Gladiatrix is skewer power. Doesn't really matter here. But still, I feel like there's so I do wonder if swapping in Morrow Stingers X2 is arguably better here, just because you take the Stingers and try and um, after the Hounds go through, have the Stingers try to finish things off. I think that's actually the play. I don't think Drake does much for sheep here. I think the Stingers do a lot more. And if you get, like, I feel like you get bad luck with the Hounds. The gladiators are just going to overwhelm you, and Drake won't be able to help you so much. And so then I'd probably go with the Raider as well. Might be a nice final finish off option for. Now, who do I think is going to win? Sheep, I think, is the better player with this army and knows how to play it. Um, but Morsbane could absolutely hit him hard if he gets bad luck. In a vacuum, I think I have to go for Sheep, but I think this is very much a game that Morsbane can win. Um, So I will swap over to my uh, little thing here. And we're gonna pencil in sheep. I don't I feel maybe like 65. This is me basically saying sheep has been playing well enough that I trust him to. Oh, come on, why are you being this way? There we go. Sheep. Okay. Do some stuff here. Nope. Don't do that. Oh, it's 27. All right. So, yeah, what we're gonna do with that is that yeah, I like Sheep to win here, but he could very easily lose this. This very much feels like a game that Sheep could lose. Next, we'll be talking about I. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up the actual game, which means you will probably be hearing a bit of a shift in how I sound because of how this. I don't know. This is stuff with my IHA. IHA has I actually kind of played around with a little bit of this kind of build. Sorry. Let me go back about 10 seconds here. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, so yeah, so let me hop over to the other page of things and we can take a look at so I did actually correctly predict this one, but let's take a look at the actual game itself. As you can see, I have pulled up a actually, let me try something here real quick. See if that fixes it. Anyway, so this is the actual game itself. This is what the final game looked like. Let's hop in here. I can flip around and we'll go to the very beginning. This is them pulling in all their stuff. I believe, yes, this is what the game looked like at the start. As we can see, I was correct. Didn't bring in any extra gladiators. Didn't bring in Mara warriors. Brought in stingers. And to some, I don't. I feel like that's too many points. Because the song was 20, right? Did I do my math wrong? I very well might have. Yeah, I think I just did my math bad. Uh, that is 550 points. Okay, I did my math bad. So let's take a quick look here at this. Okay, looks like Sheep's getting off to a good start of some things. Let's just kind of flip through the game and kind of see how this sorts itself out. So you can see kind of players are getting themselves all set up here. Just kind of clicking through some key points in the game. So you can see at this point in the game, oh, he's got a hound in the start zone. He's lost 3, still has the 4, only killed one gladiator at this point. So this isn't a great position for Sheep at the moment, but let's hop ahead. Kind of see what's going on here. Kills another one, kills another one. Okay. Looks like 5 hounds dead at this point. Oh, and he's got a gladiator in the start zone as well. And had Spartacus do some damage. So let's take a flip through some of this defense here. Let's see. Okay, there's some kills and stuff. Not sure what matches up with what, but Sheep is definitely getting some kills in here. Ooh, yeah, this is a good set of stuff there, and so At this point in the game here, this looks pretty good for morsbane, honestly. Um, okay, Gladiatrix goes down. That is actually kind of big. Um, Now you're down to a squad of gladiators, and there's still a lot of hounds left. That doesn't look so good. This is where things I think start to kind of fall apart. Crixus is definitely doing some work and hasn't neither Spartacus nor Crixus have taken any wounds, so that's really big. Um, Hound stopping this gladiator from attacking the stingers. Looks like one already got killed. Looks like gladiator already killed one stinger, so trying to stop him from getting any more. Done a one damage to Crixus. Uh, this kills another one. Like they're rushing in. Um, Hounds are left. There's still a lot to go. Um, Four hounds. Okay, do kill one of the forward glad. Again, now you got him down to a single glad. Crixus only at one wound, but honestly, at this point, you feel pretty good about your setup because yeah, no, there we go. Down to no gladiators with two hounds left, and so now he's only got single attackers, and now it's all stingers. He killed the Dumatef. Um, I wonder if he drained. Let's take a look and see if we can figure it out. Stingers. Mark a one on hounds, and mark two on stingers. Stingers. I'm not seeing any stinger drain rolls, which is probably the correct call. Just because you don't need it, and losing a turn and losing a stinger hurts really badly. There goes Crixus goes from Crixus at three wounds, so now it's four stingers, full life Spart. Oh no, one life Spartacus, four life Spartacus. Yeah. And I think that kills him right there. Yep, cool. All right. So, having done our analysis of that, I'm going to swap back over to the other end of things, and we're going to chat about the next wave of uh, what what we're looking at here while I get this set up. This very much feels like a game that sheep could lose. Next, we'll be talking about IHA. IHA has I actually kind of played around with a little bit of this kind of build for a little bit. Didn't get very far with it just because I didn't love the options I was working with, but he's got Brute Guts, Krav Maga agents, Nikita agents, Raylan, Swarm, Rygarn, Tarn, and then Akumaken and Master of the Hunt in the reserves. Now, Akumaken is I want to say like 85 or 90. Uh, Maybe 100? Just pausing real quick to say, so I spend a long time showing you this here when I think I'm on the other page of things. So just a heads up, this page, it's make a lot of comments as if you can see what I'm showing on my screen, but it won't be there. I do think I do a quick run through after I finish all this. Anyway, just letting you know. Oh, no, there's no way he's less than 75. Maybe he's 95. Oh, he's 100 exactly. Okay. This Mask of Terror and Counter-Strike, potentially very dangerous. So love that as a sideboard option. And then Master of the Hunt, also at 100 points, can just wreck opponents' unique heroes. So you can usually swap this out for Swarm Raylan, Nikita Agents, or Rygarn. I think in general, Swarm Raylan's going to be your better call for most of those, but I'm not 100% certain. The thing is, Brute Gruts are very good into common melee units. Krav are very good into range. Nikita are good into range. Um, Raylan is a fantastic option to keep everything alive a little bit longer. Rygarn lets you flip to whatever you want, and Tarn can be really solid blockers. So I really like this build overall. It has a lot of ability to do things that um, can really work for it. And then the other person is Ryguy. Now, this build has been derided as the worst of the builds, and I think there's definitely a lot of things that it has some things going for it, but it also has some things that are just troublesome. So this is Airborne Elite, 3 Bloodburst Thralls, 8 Dark Prowls, 2 Death Strikes, Nick at Night, and the Prey Blood Thrall with the Black Wormling, General Frazier, and a Prey Blood in reserve. And it's it's more solid than it looks like on the front of it. Airborne Elite can absolutely wreck builds. And the Thralls have a number of tools. Bloodburst is really annoying to fight against in melee because, let me pop it up and show you what we're looking at here. The Bloodburst is, uh, when it receives 1 or more wounds, basically, you can potentially uh, kill it when it kills you, unless they're using a special attack. Dark Prowls are basically the hounds, but they can pounce. So they can pounce, do that 5 attack dice, and they have 5 defense against range. So it's really solid. Death Strikes can throw 6 defense, 6 dice attack, and they can come right back. Now Nick at Night is also can bring any of these dudes back, and he's got overextend, 7 move, flying, 4 attack. He can definitely do it. It's not now the biggest thing holding the Thrall army back is the fact that it only gets, on average, 2 attacks a turn. There's a lot of things that could work with it. I mean, the Black Wormlings are also there that are nice against like ranged components, but there's a lot in here that could. And Fraser, I think, is there to give you an extra initiative boost at the airborne drop. So here is essentially my take on this particular matchup. Uh, I feel like Ryguy is going to bring the Black Wormlings. How many is X4? Would be, I believe, 35 times 4. Yeah, so that is 140 points, which you want to keep the Airborne Elite. And I think, how many? I don't think the Bloodburst actually do too much for you here. So if you swap out all of them, uh, both the Death Strike and the Prey Blood, it gets you to 130. So you'd have to drop another Dark Prowl, or well, actually, hold up. So actually, I think the play then would be 3 Black Wormlings, and so 3 Black Wormlings would be um, 105 points, which is a lot easier to work with. Drop both the Death Strikes, you don't really need them too much. Prey Blood isn't doing you any favors here. Um, and so that leaves you 55 points. 2 of the Bloodburst. So you leave a Bloodburst behind, and uh, swap out your Prey Bloods, your Death Strikes, and 2 of your Bloodbursts to bring in 3 Black Wormlings. I think that's the right call here. IHA, Kumakin, is it only squad figures? I think it's only squad figures, so yeah, so it's only squad figures. So Akumakin doesn't do you any good here. Um, Now you need the Krav and the Nikitas for this. Brute Crits, I believe, also get their bonus against commons, not just common squads. Let's double check that. Yes. So the Brute Grets are really good into this army. Um, and you probably want Raylan for the defense bonus against like the Dark Prowls and things like that. I think you drop Nikita agents and bring in Master of the Hunt, which allows you, if Nick at night decides to come running around and playing, and you manage to kill him, which might not be very hard to do with Master of the Hunt. So I think because Master of the Hunt's in this pool, and Krav counter the airborne very hard. You have Raylan, you have Ragarn to be able to swap with stuff. Tarns, Master of the Brute Gruts are. I think IHA pulls this one out. Ryguy absolutely could, but I think this is just something where um, I just realized I haven't been showing these um, these builds here. So we'll do a quick recap. Brute Gruts, Prav, Nikita, Raylan, Swarm, Rygarn, Tarn, Viking. Kumakin, Master of the Hunt, and Airborne, Bloodbird Strawl, Dark Prowl, Deathstrike, Nicholas S1, Prey Blood, Black Worming X4, Grand General Simon Fraser, Prey Blood. Quick run through of everybody here. Brute Grets get common attack on figures. Prey Bloods do this Blood Hunger thing. And the problem is rolling a 20-sided die here. This is your most common option, and you only get 2 a turn. That's kind of the big problem. Solid with this, but it's not amazing. These are the big ones because, they get this pounce attack and then they +5 defense. I mean, if you engage them, you're in trouble. They're in trouble. And then Bloodburst, which are like this. Yeah. It's Rupture that if you attack them adjacent, they're going to kill you. And they can potentially hit for 4 dice. But, and then, as I pointed out, this configuration puts you at 105, which allows you to grab 3 Black Wormlings. So I think Ryguy brings in his 3 Black Wormlings, which can definitely do some damage to the Krav. If they actually can do fairly bit of damage to everything here. And I don't know that IHA has a great answer for them. But Master of the Hunt is very much an easy counter into, well, not an easy counter, but like he can do a lot of damage into Nip without even like, and IHA can swap him at any moment. And if Nip goes down, Ryguy's chances of winning also go way down. Especially if it happens fairly early on, because then he's not able to replenish, which he kind of needs to. And I think he needs the Krav to counter the airborne. The Root are just solid in general. So it'll be really interesting to see how this plays out. And even in the end game, Rygarn is still really solid. I think a lot of this is going to come down to when the airborne drop. I actually think Ryguy wants the airborne to drop in like round 2 or 3, when he's potentially had a chance to take out some of the crop. So that would be my. I'm going to swap that to this here, and I'm going to uh, put in IHA. I just think that more things need to go right for Guy to win. So that's where my vote is going, as it were. There we go. Does that work? Yeah. Okay. Cool. So now we're going to go down to Pouncing Wolves and Okay, so let's take a look at the actual game itself. Um, and audio might be changing again. Find out. Okay, so this is the opening setup of IHA versus Ryguy. Now, as you'll notice, Ryguy surprised me by bringing in four Black Wormies and removing Airborne. I think he needs Airborne to really make this work, but I think he just was too scared of the Krav and whatnot. Here, IHA drops the Nikitas and adds in Master Hunt as I predicted. So this is what it looks like at the start. Let's see. Well, let's see what their opening little setup was. IHA leads Krav, and he's got a bunch of Black Wormlings and Dark Thralls. And I get it with no Airborne, leading Krav makes a ton of sense because you don't really you want to get rid of the Black Wormlings. You should be able to win fights. You honestly want your Brute Grets are now the best thing for this matchup and Master of the Hunt. So let's take a look and see how this kind of plays itself out. You see Krav kind of running up and doing things. Nick, wait, was Nick? He immediately charges out with Nick. Oh, damn. Okay. Uh, but yeah, IHA swaps it over to, it says Krav here. But this was 100% Master of the Hunt. Uh, and so now he does Black Wormlings, which pop up. They're not quite able to crop because, yeah, um, looks like they put a wound on Nikki. Um, oh, that's painful to see that there. Um, yeah. Yeah, IHA pretty much goes full moth, which, yeah, yeah, Nick is dead. Like he loses Nick in round one. That's very painful. I do not love that charge from Nick. Um, Now he just sort of retreats the Krav. Master of the Hunt runs over here. Like, yeah, Black Wormlings finish off the Krav. They come on into the start zone. They kill a Brute Grub, which is very good. Master of the Hunt comes around here. Looks like, yeah, no, so Brute Grubs come, they finish off that, and so now we're in a spot where he's basically going to need a lot of work from his remaining dudes. Dark Prowl is there. Tarns proceed to kill it. Um, what's Rai Guy getting for rolls? Yeah, looks like he's now gone full brute. That's over here, so yeah, then the brute grits just sort of start rummaging through stuff. Raylan's there. Bloodburst. Managed to take Wannock. They kill him. Another Bloodburst. It looks like they both die. Is that what happens? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, he's still got a full life. Master of the Hunt. To use up all the berserkers. Damn, I don't think he ever used a berserker. That's Master of the Hunt just sort of causing problems. Just running around. He's at 3. 3 wounds. Dark Prowl kills him. And I believe Raylan kills on a counterattack. I would have put Raylan on that. Wait, that was Raylan, right? So yeah, this sort of marking here is Raylan. I actually think I put Raylan on this 5 spot. Well, I guess I see the logic. If you're worried about the Dark Prowl, I mean the Death Strike, I should go like over here to stay out of range, but like, yeah. No, like he's got all these thralls, but like, yeah, they're not. It's not Raylan, Rygarn, and like it's still fairly dicey. Here comes the Death Strike. Looks like Death Strike manages to kill both of them. Is that right? Is that what I'm seeing? Um, yeah, that's it right there. Rygarn. Um, taking the dark. Like this is still very winnable for Right Guy at this point. Um, problem is that yeah. So I think that yeah goes there. Uh, ooh, did he lose one right there? Yep, 2 for 3. So he's not got a single dark prowl. Yep, Rygarn hops on there. Goes here. Yep, doesn't actually kill him. So, and that's game. But yeah, like he kind of needed a lot of things to go right, and Master of the Hunt. Like I don't. I think charging in with Nicholas was not a good call there. Um, as it just meant Nicholas just got murdered by Master of the Hunt. And I think if he'd been able to keep Nick safer, I think he does a lot more to come back from this game. But you know, such is things. Let's head back to the other side of things. Form. So let me swap back to this one here so I remember to do it. Now let's talk about PouncingWolves. Blastotrons X2, Godiatrons times 3, Swarm Ray, not sorry, Rise Raylan, Asterios, Black One X2. Honestly, really love this. Glide Blast is solid. It's good into a lot of things. The maps are not great for Width and Fire Squads, which is one of Glide Blast's worst matchups. Uh, and Swarm Ray is really solid. Asterios, I don't know that Asterios helps you into. I think one of your other big worst match. Yeah, Black Wormlings help you a bit into Krav and Asterios. I'm not sure what Asterios helps you into. The problem is that if your opponent has any kind of big dragon, any kind of uh, you're gonna struggle. Thara problem for you. Two black wormlings helps into Krav, but they can also just get absolutely annihilated by Krav if you're careful. Um, Airborne could mess you up. Micros are not easy. Templar, Hound. No, Hound's actually you're fine into Hounds. Templar could be a bit annoying. Really, and if anyone had brought a major, which is actually surprising, no one brought any majors, but had they, this would that would be the biggest issue you'd be dealing with. Because Asterios isn't that helpful against majors. Um, Asterios, I feel like mostly helps you against melee squads, which you're already pretty good against. I don't know if I love that there. How many points is Asterios? I want to say he's 120. Might be 125 now. Oh, he's at 130. Okay. But yeah. So like this here, that's nice against squad figures, but and this is also nice against melee stuff, but it also yeah, you're bad into heroes, you're bad into stuff like that, and I just think there's enough things where if Asterios causes issues, um, but I don't really know what matchups Asterios is helping with, and he costs 130 points, which means he's probably replacing Raylan, and I don't know that there's any matchup where Raylan doesn't help you more than Asterios, so I don't love this, and I think Black Wormlings you have to like drop a squad of Glads, I think, or something, and I don't love it. The sideboard I'm not in love with. I'm in love with, I like the base army a lot. The other member of this duo is Swarm. Swarm's got General Simon Fraser, who gives a boost to these Warforged soldiers. You got Swarm Raylan, you got Nikitas, you got Eltail, you got Marshal of Hire. Nikitas give you a good range component. Raylan boosts everyone, and Warforged with an additional defense is really solid. Um, so, and Elta Hill also gives you some options to kind of like push through stuff, and uh, you know, I think Elta Hill would probably swap out for like Fraser and Nikita Agents or something, and Marshall Hire, Fraser's what 35. 40? Oh, he's 45. Okay, so General Simon Fraser's 45. Gives you a bonus. Gives you +2 to your movement as long as you are unengaged. Um, so 45 and Nikita's are 105. So you basically be swapping out Fraser and Nikita's or Fraser and Swarm Raylan for Elta Hale. And it's decent. I don't know when you would use Marshall Lahire though, because he doesn't fit great into the rest of the build. Um, he's at 50 points, and he's essentially a weaker Alta Hale, and well, I guess maybe. Well, actually, how much is the build with Fraser? Because they might just be able to swap out for Fraser, and actually, that's not terrible if that's the case. So, General Simon Fraser. I should have checked this for some of these other builds. Now that I'm thinking about it, and it's possible that I've said, oh, I don't see how the sideboard is going to work when someone played a little bit light on points. So, Akita Agents, Swarm Ray, and Warforged soldiers, which I believe are 75 at this point, or are they 80? I don't. Oh, there they are. They're at 75. Okay, so it's 550 exactly. So you can't swap out Fraser for Marshall Hire directly. So I don't love that. Because Marshall Hire isn't really doing much for you there. Now, who do I think I like better in this matchup? It depends a little bit on the map. Some of these maps might be a little bit worse for the Warforged soldiers if they're not able to. Well, Fraser's ability does help them. I think honestly, if Swarm plays, but I think they both play the same armies that they have here. They kind of have to. Um, PouncingWolves might try and bring in Black Wormling to deal with Nikitas, who could wreck the Godiatron build. And I think that's really the big question is How much can the Nikitas do? How many Godiatrons can they kill? Because if they don't manage to kill very many, the Warforged are going to have a bit of a hard time, as I believe that is Warforged Soldier, Tactical Switch. Switch that Warforged Soldier with the defending figure. I'm pretty confident that the Godiatron just straight up negates that ability. Yeah. So yeah, because yeah, so the Warforged won't be able to tactical switch. They won't be able to do anything. So it really comes down to, can the Nikitas kill like 5 Warforged? Can the Nikitas kill like 5 Godiatrons? Um, Even then, I'm not sure about that. I mean, the Warforged are gonna have a lot of defense, but Blastotrons are. Elzahale doesn't do too much for you here because she just gets tied down and bombed to death. You really need the Nikitas. It really depends on how easy it's gonna be to run around the board with Nikitas, and if Swarm loses one early, I think he's in a really tough spot. I think he needs the Nikitas to do a lot of work for the Warforged to not get absolutely wrecked on the back end of things. Because the Warforged will be doing 3v6s into Godiatrons, which base 3, melee defense +4, Raylan +2. Like, it's not easy. Now, to be fair, PouncingWolves doesn't have great ways to kill the Nikitas, but I think a couple, like, you get a pot shot in with a Blastron, which you're going to get a number of those. And because he's got the range of 7 with the Blastotrons, he can kind of force the battle to happen wherever he wants. Um, so that's kind of the thing, is that I think there's just this one could definitely go either way, but I do think that I'm going to go with pouncing here. So now we will go to Moonknight and. All right. So I actually got a couple of things wrong with this. Both players kind of surprised me. What he ended up doing. Let's go take a look. As you can see, this is what the setup was for these boards. Asterios is in play and Eltahale is in play. I believe that's, yeah. So Eltahale, Nikita. So I I don't love this play. Eltahale, I think both sides should have just kept their Raylans. I don't think that they give them too much. It's especially PouncingWolves. Um, so opening was, yeah. So let's take a look here and see what happens. This is a really small map, which means that so yeah, leading with the Nikitas here, setting up with this, and you're wanting to, like, here's the thing: if you had Raylan, you can afford to be a lot more cautious about this, and yeah. So not really sure what the play is here. I guess you just risk the engagement strikes. Look like yeah. So lost 3. Then Eltail comes in. Um, 2 Nikitas down. So this is a really good position right now for yeah. So should be able to start chucking away at them. Alright, just busting through here. Aldahel hasn't taken any wounds. Only and you've only lost a squad of the Diatrons. What happens? Does the team just like fall apart? Because yeah, if this is the setup, man, imagine if you had Raylan. Like, you'd be in such a good position right now. Like these things are probably. Oh, he looks like he loses a bunch of them really quickly here. Um, yeah, I think if PouncingWolves had Raylan, he probably wouldn't have lost as many good Iatrons. He'd be in an incredibly commanding position at the moment. Um, it's like, yeah, it looks like he's just starting to cut through them now, because yeah, and so it looks like we end at this position where Asterios did nothing the entire game. Asterios did nothing the entire game. Raylan would have been so much better to help out here. Um, lose on points, and if you had more, yeah, if you had more Godiatrons, you'd be in a much better spot. So yeah, I think that was the big misplay was because let's just take a quick look through some of this stuff here. Yeah, because he was pouncing, smashing through a bunch of stuff. But Swarm's just getting rolls. So like, yeah, I think that's the play that needed to be made. Is so I think Pouncing misplayed that there by not including Raylan. I think with Raylan he wins this without much issue. So I got that one wrong, but if I'm being honest, I feel like uh, that was due to other factors. Anyway, back to the other stuff. Baron Scapius. So Moonknight's build. I think it's probably the gutsiest build of the bunch, even more gutsy than Thrall's, because Alan Golden Company is it can very easily have some bad matchups that just it loses. Now, Avernus, Bull, Boreos, and Iron Golem and Lilja are all really solid options. Avernus can rip through things. Boreos can make melee armies just straight up a lose. And the Iron Golem is a sick. He can hit for a lot. In the um, uh, Breach is in the sideboard. How much is Breach? I want to say he's 125. Yeah, he's 125. So you can swap him out for Avernus, Boreos. Um, it's not a bad thing to have like Breach in the sideboard, but I do think he's not quite as. I think he's a step behind these other options that you have in there. And then is Zedekron and the Iron Golem the same price? I want to say the Iron Golem is 80 points. Yeah. And Zedekron is 75, 70? Zedekron's 70. So they're roughly the same price. Okay, so that's reasonable to swap out the Golem for a Zeta, but I don't know if it gets you a whole ton. It's a solid build. It's just you lose a construct and you're in trouble. Even with four here, yeah, I just think there's some builds that are just gonna absolutely wreck you, and it's gonna be very hard to deal with. Um, so uh, the other player is Baron Scapius, and Baron Scapius is running Eltahale, 3 squads of Microtroopers, Raylan, Swarm, no, sorry, Raylan Rise, Bull, Dumatef, Guard, Asamu, Laglor, Otanashi, Preyblit. Like, okay, this um this sideboard, it basically looks like you swap in Otanashi and sorry, Laglor for Eltahale, and then other um whatever other figures you feel like including. In this particular instance, so now in this particular matchup, I think you want to leave Eltahale in. You already have the range advantage. You don't need a bigger one. And Eltahale can absolutely crack through stuff, and if you're not careful with Talongoal, Eltahale can kill him really quickly. So I think you do that, and just leave her in there. Moonknight, feeling like you gotta keep with what you got. Oh, yeah, I think you gotta, because, how much is Lilja? Is Lilja 115? Where she dropped? So she's 105 now. So you can't drop her and get. So you'd have to drop Avernus. But I think Avernus is going to help you more than Breach here. I don't love it into this matchup. I just think. Now, the thing that works for you is that the troopers don't throw a ton of dice a lot, but they do have the ranged ability, which means they basically negate Boreos. And you, so it might the way that Moonknight wins this is the big beefy dudes don't die to range attacks. That just feels like too big of an ask. So I think I'm gonna have to say that Baron Scapius pulls this one off as well. So let's go in. Let's type it on up. Baron Scapius. I think this wants to be a little bit bigger. There we go. All right. So now we're going over to the right. Okay. So another matchup where I got it wrong. As you can see here, this is what the final end game state looks like. Oh, I forgot to yoink up where the starting version looks like. Um, so I believe it's right here. There we go. That looks right. Okay. So opening setup. No Boreos. I do not like this play because Boreos is very key to the elemental build. Smaller maps, you can probably get away with it, but I really don't like it. And he basically plays his base army. Yeah, you don't need Lagler. Yep. So, let's take a look and see what happens here. So Talongoal runs out. Now, Sir Heroscape's assassination strategy that he tries in a later matchup against Moonknight uh, feels better on this map just because it's a lot smaller, it's a lot quicker to get stuff. You honestly barely need to leave your start zone or anything. But let's just see here. And so Avernus pops up, Breach pops up. Let's see here. Like Avernus turns forward, Breach. At this point, no one's taken any wounds. There's no reason not to. He just keeps moving up his dudes. Lilja comes up. Um, he's gotten some wounds in on Avernus and Breach at this point. Like, scroll back up. He's just got a whole mass here, and so these two rush in. Bam, bam. Does Reach just get in a... No? Doesn't look like it. There goes Breach. Is this one of those things where it just kind of pulls off and wins on points? Avernus pops in. Avernus is dead. You've only like, how did Darren Scapius lose this? This looks so good for him. Like, does time get called? Does he kill Eltahale? Ooh, okay, he kills Eltahale. I think, yeah, I don't think bringing in Eltahale was the right call at that point. And then just everything sticks around. Okay, so hopefully this is the end state. Full life Lilja, full, okay, mostly, almost fully dead Iron Golem. Full life Talon, yeah, damn. Lost on points. I think the best play there was bringing in Altahale. I don't think you needed to drop in Altahale at that point, especially because you were up on points. You want to. I think you want to get him down to kill one more elemental before you do that. Before you bring in Altahale. So I think that's what cost him the game. Uh, Such as things. Let's just take a quick look at that real quick and just see if any sort of what the dice kind of look like here. Uh, oof, not some, not a bunch of, okay, not great rolls. Uh, but how'd the old Elta Hill stuff go? Oof. And you take a wound. And just get immediately smacked down for ow, ow, that hurts so much. Oh, looks like you rolled attack dice when you should have rolled defense dice. Or were you out of Raylan's aura? Yeah, you were. Oh, this is very painful. Okay, so very bad dice as well. But okay, so looks like some bad dice on Alta Hale as well. So that's a bit painful. Okay, back to video side of things. Me versus OG-blaha. He swap us down. Okay, so my army. I feel pretty good about my army into the field, but let's talk about it. We got Cathar Spearman ×3. Cathar just annoying for melee units. Count Raymond gives him +1 move. Krav to deal with ranged units and Moku. Uh, Now, Krav and Cathar are basically going to be the case for almost all of my matchups. Uh, and swapping out Raymond and Marku kind of depends on both the board and what my opponent is running. Necrotech Wraith Riders are now you can do shenanigans like yoink them into spears, but they're actually there for more like if I'm facing someone with Krav or Nikitas, in that they can yoink things away, and if I can kill like one or two of them, that makes it a lot harder for my opponent to deal with my Krav, deal with my Cathar, or my Krav, honestly. Raylan helps keep everyone alive longer, and then the Raider would usually just come in either when I swap in Raylan or the Necrotech. I think there's a way to get Marku in there, but if not, then yeah. And the thing is, usually, if I am dropping Marku and it's a Wannick map, I am either just surrendering to Wannick as a thing, or I am basically hoping that I can put enough wounds on other things that aren't going to cause me an issue. The Raider buys me at least one Wannick wound, a Wannick wound. Um, if nothing else, Raylan buys me some Wannick wounds. So, like, I don't love it, but yeah, I feel pretty good into both melee and ranged matchups. My worst matchups are pure range, just because Krav are decent, but they any bad rolls from them, and I'm in a lot of trouble potentially. My opponent, OG-blaha. Now, this is a really spicy build. It's Clayton Pierce. Deepworm Drow times 4, Guilty McCready, James Murphy, Kate Crawford, and Rygarn. In the pool, he's got Kira Jack, Mad Dog Malone, and Raylan the Kiri Warrior. AOA. It's a really interesting set of builds. Um, and so here's the thing. Clayton can throw a lot of damage, and so can the Drow. Um, and the Drow are on Canary. This could be a really hard army to beat. Clayton and the Cowboys can just throw a lot of damage per turn. Rygarn allows you to swap to things whenever you want. It's a really solid build. Raylan the Carry Warriors in AOA is an interesting addition, but I don't know what you swap her in for unless you're going like pulling fully away from like the Cowboys sort of thing. Uh, Kira, I think you have to swap out for like Guilty or Kate. Mad Dog, I think you have to swap out for Murphy. You can swap out squads of Drow as well, I believe, dropping you down a fair bit. I think you can also swap out 2 squads of Drow for Raylan. So I think that I play really well into this. Canary would be a bit of a challenge as a matchup, but the Drow just moves into Cathar, and he can definitely throw an amount of ranged dice, but the problem is that none of these units are great into crop. So he basically needs to play Rygarn games where I can tell you what I'm going to do. I am going to play no, entirely not me. Swarm Raylan, swapping out for Raymond and Marku. But the only reason I change that is if the map is really bad for 4 movers, and I don't believe there's any maps in the pool that are really bad for 4 move. Um, because I can basically then start out of the gate blasting away at his stuff. And if I kill one of the Cowboys or Clayton, uh, the Drow are just not going to do well into the remaining Cathar that I have. I am fully willing to trade Krav for Clayton here, just because, yeah, he can definitely still ping me and stuff, but it's going to be tricky. And Raylan into Rygarn is not a terrible endgame matchup for me. I think I pulled this one out. Um, Now it's definitely losable for me. It is absolutely losable. But I think I have just too many pieces to counter him. He doesn't have a great answer to Crop. Like his best answer is swapping out into like an initiative switch around me, and that's not a great strategy. So I'm gonna say I beat OG-blaha. All right, now MegaSilver and Chris Perkins. Okay. I ended up predicting this one mostly correct. Oh, let me pull up some stuff here while I yoink it over. So, um, Interesting. Hold up. Yeah. Okay. All right. I was doing some wrong stuff with stuff. Let's over here. Uh, think this was the opening of our setup. A couple of things that it's worth noting. Um, he has here uh, this is our setup. He went no Rygarn, brought in Malone and Kira. So and then I brought in Raylan as I said. You can watch this in more in depth here, but he pulls dudes up. He loses initiative, which he feels really upset about because he was gonna bomb here and potentially kill something, but like I don't know. I have 5 defense on all these Cathar. and 4 defense on these guys. It's unlikely that he does a ton of damage. But yeah, he does manage to end up killing one of my crop early on. I waste guilty, which is big. Um, and then kind of as he brings out his drought, I retreat my crop behind the start zone. I bring out the Cathar and I just go full Cathar here. He manages to get a drow in. You can see this more in depth on the video, so I'm just going to kind of skim through it real quick because this one was actually recorded by me. Um, yeah, and as you can see, I'm just kind of moving around here. I win a couple of key initiatives that he could definitely have pulled some stuff out on, but like, yeah, and I think I kill Clayton at this point. Yeah, and so yeah, I kill Clayton, and so I think yeah, the end game is here, where he basically doesn't have a. He's got 4 Drow and Kira left. I have 3 Cathar, 2 Krav, and Raylan is fully. And my next turn is going to be on Raylan. Sorry, not Raylan, on Krav. They're gonna kill something here. Like I'm just, I'm just very likely to yeah, yeah. So I pull this one out. I get a couple of clutch initiatives. Murphy and Clayton kind of last a little bit longer than I think they should, and he gets some good hide and darknesses. But I think there was like 1 or 2 key blocks with some Cathar that was also nice. But overall, it just ends up being a really tough matchup for him. Um, yeah. So let's talk about the next one. Uh, let's Oh, wait, let me swap over to this here. As you can see, I've put in myself. And now it's MegaSilver and Chris Perkins. So, um, MegaSilver, Washia, Master of Tides, Key to the Spring Runner, Macrobations times 3, and Rise Raylan. It's got Krav and Ritakshi also on board. Ritakshi can just absolutely, especially on these maps with a bunch of lava, Ritakshi can just make it so the microagents don't have to worry about that at all. Washia can also put some water down. I think you have to swap her out though if you want to bring in Ritakshi or the Krav. Um, or drop down to 2 squads of microagents, which I don't think you should do at this point. I like this. How much is the Awashia and Kita combo? So Kita is what, 30? Oh right, real quick in my against what I think OG-blaha is gonna do. I think he's gonna have Kira Jax to try and play some shenanigans with my Krav, but the problem is that like Kira can die really quickly, so he's careful. Especially because I can outrange. Okay, so what was I looking for? I was looking for Kita. Key to the Spring Runner is 25 points, and Awasha is, I believe, 115. Or is she 110 now? Or they dropped her to 105? She's dropped to 105, okay. Or no, actually, these are old Sab stats. Hmm. Right. I forgot about that. Uh, right. I just remembered there was some Delta updates, so the builder isn't 100% correct. Oh well. Um, let's pop open the Delta tab, pricing history. Uh, so Washia was Okay, so she was 115 and Keto was 30. So 145 is what it used to be. Okay. All right. So what that means for MegaSilver here. So you can definitely swap in Krav Maga agents. I don't believe Ratashi changed at the update. I think she's like 80. I was right, Ratashi's 80. So I'm not quite sure what the play would be. I think putting Ratashi in is tricky because I don't love any of the options. But I think MegaSilver's best option is Microbe Agents X3 and well, no, sorry, it's going to do his matchup opponent. Microbe Agents X2, Quozl, Templar Cavalry X4, Brute Rats, and Laglor. Quozl's an amazing cleanup figure. Templar are just really solid, and Microbe Agents are good, especially in Chris's hands. Laglor to give them a boost. I believe he probably have to drop Quozl and like a squad of Templar to do that. Yeah, because Laglor's at 120. So yeah, that's pretty solid. Brute Guts, I think, can swap straight up for a squad of Templar, which is also really solid. So this is a good build from Chris. Um, Against MegaSilver, I think he has to do Laglor, so he can basically force Microcorp agents where he wants them. So it'd be 3 squads of Templar, 2 squads of Microcorp agents, and Laglor. And I think Tommy needs to play the Krav. Um, and just like I don't think Awasha is doing him any good here. I think he just needs to play the Krav and Microcorp agents and Raylan and hope that it works out. Well, let's see. So 115 plus 30 is 145. Microcorp agents at this point are 95. So right, they were 95 at this point. So oh no, they were 90. They were 90. So um, 270, and I think you just need to have Raylan in there. So yeah, I'm not quite sure. I think you just have to swap in Krav. It's really tight. But I think Chris with Laglor would be able to pull Mega Silver out of the auras that he wants. I think this is one where I think Mega Silver can absolutely pull it off, but I think Chris pulls this one off. So Chris Perkins. All right, 4 more armies to go. Sir Arturi. Okay, so I actually end up picking. I ended up being very wrong on this for what they ended up doing. As you can see, this is their setup at the start of the game, and they basically, from what I can see, went with their base armies, which was very surprising to me. I was expecting much more. I think Laglor helps Chris a lot here to kind of push the matchup farther. It does. It just yeah. And so we see Chris leads his micros. Mega Silver leading with Awashia. Awashia, I don't think it does a ton of help here, but uh, yeah. Then they start marking Chris's. Awashia's taking some wounds. Kita dies. I don't know. Kita isn't dead yet. Kita's running around doing stuff. And just absolutely blitzkrieging across the board. Yeah, so then Templar come running up, And I think he's just started getting killed by micros. Because he's using Washia to protect him. Yeah, because once he starts losing Templar, Chris is just in a really bad spot here. Yeah, so it looks like the very end here. This was just barely enough to give Tommy the win, which absolutely impressive. Let's see. It doesn't look like stealth armor was hot for either of them. 1 for 5 and 2 for 7. Those are fairly normal numbers. Looks like what was happening though was, uh, yeah. Oh, he needed to do 3 for 3, and MegaSilver fully blocks it. That's rough, buddy. Uh, okay. Let's swap back and continue on. We're nearing the end of the first round of things, and we've been going for about an hour and a half. So keep bearing with me. Versus Shurrig. So let's swap back. Sir Artorius, Death Chasers with S times 4, Kuthnak, Marku, Nirak, Raylan, Krav, Maverksa. It's got a lot of really solid tools. Maverksa can pop in for probably Kuthnak. Um, it can throw a lot of dice in a lot of ways that um, most armies aren't prepared for. 6-move chasers that can hit you for 5 dice a pop. Very good. And he's got Swarm Raylan, and Krav help with. It's just got so many good tools. I do like this build a lot. I think chasers decreased in price, but like this overall, this is a really solid overall build. I like this one a lot. Playing into Alaria the Pale, Microcorps times 4, Rise Raylan, Bull, Fen Hydra, and Prince Alcohora. Alcohora feels like a fill-out option for swapping in for Alaria. And then the Fen Hydra, I think, is there if you need to, like, bite into stuff. It's like 130 or something, but I think you do have to drop a squad of Micros and Alaria and then bring in the Hydra and Bull. I don't love it. Just 'cause it feels like a little too all-in on Microcorp agents. If the map is bad for you, which a lot of these maps aren't great for range, especially range that needs height. So I think that could cause some issues. So I do like Microcorp agents and Microcorp troopers in a vacuum, but a lot of these lava maps are just not great for anybody that needs to spend a lot of time on range. So now the Microcorp agents and Swarm Raylan is good. In fact, not Swarm Raylan, Rise Raylan. So who do I think would win between this? The fact that both armies can. So Krav, I think. I actually think playing Krav is a big step here because, well, because I don't think Shurrig should change anything about his build. I don't think Alcohora helps you any more than Alaria does. Um, Plus, Alaria's got range in the end game, and that's going to be valuable. I think I think bringing in Muberxa might be a better call than bringing in the Krav, because it's very hard for the Microcorp agents to get to a spot where they can get good hits on the chasers and not be open to Kuthnek attacks. And I think you need Swarm Raylan to keep Kuthnek alive, keep the chasers alive. Do you swap out Nirak? I think it really depends on the map. If it's a snow map, keep Nirak in there. Um, it's a map where you can get Muberxa to a decent perch. I think you go for that, and then potentially try and take out his Raylan, or you know. I think Sir pulls this one out. I don't think it's amazing odds for him. I think I like Sir's build better into. I just think Shurig's a little too in on the microcorp train, and I think that hurts. So swap back to our brackets. There we go. Okay. Now we've got quozl and. Okay, so I think I mostly ended up predicting this one um pretty close to correct. Let's swap over. As you can see, we've got uh went with he went with Alcohora. That was a bit of a surprise. I don't think Alcohora helps him too much more here. Micros Raylan, and then Krav Raylan, Death Chasers Nerak. It's great. It's a nice solid setup of builds. So I think I listed this. I think I said don't bring the Krav, but honestly, I don't hate this build. I think the problem was that uh yeah, you didn't bring Kuznak. I think that was useful for this. I don't. Well, we'll find out. So he this is what it looks like at the start. He launches out, and then I guess he wins initiative. We're dealing with Swarm Ray, so moves Rail into a spot, but the problem. Oh, that's a very forward spot for. That's a very aggressive play from Shurrig. That is way more aggressive of a Raylan placement than he needs to be doing. And as you'll notice, that means that yeah, okay, so that's what I think hurts Shurrig here is that yeah, he's able to start doing some attacks, but they managed to get through Raylan. And look at this. He has like no board control. All his dudes are in the, yeah, no, sorry. This is just oh, this hurts so bad to look at this. Just 'cause, not no, sorry, I should rephrase that. I don't I'm not saying like I think that Shurик is misplaying this. I think he probably misplays. So well, let's see, because I'm assuming it's all in micros for a while, right? Yeah, micros. Yeah, because so I think the problem for Shurик is that well, he didn't want Raylan to be shut down. I think you because that's the thing. He doesn't have a great answer for Krog. So that's probably why he put Raylan in that bad spot. But like that just hurts so badly. I almost feel like I feel like you're better putting. This is not a great map for him. I almost feel like the play might have been. I think you just. I think the play would have actually been, especially with chasers, is to just put Raylan as far forward in your start zone as you can, and just load up on micro. Don't spend any turns moving Raylan. Um, if he tries to move in with Krav, you're in position to shoot. But this is also probably one of the worst maps that Shuri could have gotten. So, um, yeah, I think just put Raylan like right here. There's not a great place to put Raylan in your start zone. This is just a good setup from Sir Artorias. Like this all so good and just yeah, there's not really much that Shuri can do and Alcohora is not doing anything for you. Yeah, yeah, this did not turn out well for him. Two builds. Let's swap back to look at them. So first we'll look at quozl. Uh Estivara, Firelike Spiders times 4, Marku, Quahan, Bull of Kurik, and the Wyvern. Of Kurik is a interesting choice here. I don't think Oathcourt does anything for you. I think with the Wyvern, you have to swap in Estivara and Marku. I think there's some matchups that matters, but I think in most cases, this is the build you want to run. No, no good range support for Quahan and no Raylan. It means that she's a lot more vulnerable, but she is Quahan, which means she can absolutely go off. Um, Now, Sir Heroscape, on the other hand, let's say that's it's basically the thing. Quahan can go off, but this build is not. It's missing some of the things that makes a Quahan build really good. S1R does help your 4 squads of spiders, though, and they can probably fight enough decent blockers. Sir Heroscape's got a Samu Laglor, Trooper 6-3, Rise Raylan, and then 2 squads of Ashra, which I think you swap in for a squad of troopers as like a. Well, actually, let's see. Ashra would be. So I guess you can swap them in for Laglor. You can swap them in for. Swapping in for Laglor is actually not a bad idea because if you're playing as a melee build, um, the the extra range doesn't help you that much. So might as well just make life annoying for the melee build. So I think in this particular situation, so who do I think pulls this one out? I think it's really dependent on the map, and it's really dependent on Quahan. I think Sir Heroscape is a really solid player, and I think that he can do a lot of damage with the troopers. Spiders can definitely engage things, but if Quahan had Raylan, any Raylan, I think I would feel better about this matchup for quozl. But without a Raylan, I think that Quahan just isn't going to be able to kill enough before she dies. I think this is winnable for quozl. It's absolutely winnable. Quahan can absolutely go off. I just think that in most situations, Sir Heroscape is able to kill Quahan before she does too much damage. And because he's dealing with a ranged unit, it's a lot easier for him to sort of spread his stuff out. So, swapping back over to the CCL pod video. Um, Sorry, that's CCL. Yeah, it's just, I call it anyway. And we'll do Sir Heroscape. There we go. All right. So, all right. I think I got this one pretty correct. Let's go pop over there and take a look. Um, so, uh, Sir Heroscape here. And yeah, so they both roll stuff. So let's take a quick look at this. I'm very curious if Sir Heroscape plays the way to play against Quahan. We'll find out. Uh, Sir Heroscape is not. You need to be spreading your dudes out more than this. But Quahan is at 5 wounds, so it's working, but I think you need to be spreading your guys out a lot more. Well, it worked, and honestly, it only cost you Dingles Trooper. Oh, damn. Okay. When that happens, who cares? Who cares if you weren't playing against Quahan optimally? Um, yeah, I'm sorry, but these spiders, they're not going to beat this absolute juggernaut of nonsense. So, yeah. Yeah, no, yeah. So this is just yeah, this is academic at this point. This is the final setup, and yeah, no, like yeah, yeah. Once Quahan dies to losing a single, like you trade Quahan for a single trooper, or no, actually, I guess maybe 2 wounds on Raylan. Is that how it worked? Let's go all the way back down. Or is this just okay? No, the wounds came from like spider attacks, so yeah, that's just academic. So that's a fairly straightforward game. Yeah, Quahan just dying super fast means that game's over. I feel like these are very generic choices in almost every single instance except the IHA Raigai one. And I feel like these are a lot of conventional wisdom. But we'll see what happens far as the rest of this. So the next set is Sheep versus IHA. Quick refresher, Sheep is playing Hounds, and IHA is playing this unique pod squad. Now Drake counters Krav and Nikita, and honestly isn't that bad into Master of the Hunt as well. Is there a size restriction on the Kumaken? Or is it just anybody? Quad figure. Interesting. I think Sheep here, I think Sheep just needs to roll with the base army. I don't think Stingers help him in a way that the rest don't. I think the play for IHA here is to actually swap in a Kumaken for Raylan. Um, is Nikita Agent small or medium as well? I think it is. Small or medium, so the Hounds don't care about that. I honestly think the play for IHA is to swap out Nikita's and Raylan for Akumaken and the Master of the Hunt. Um, just because the Master of the Hunt could kill Drake pretty quickly if you wanted to. And you can sort of swap around to whichever ones you want. Feel really close there because the Hounds can just eat through the entire defenses of the army, but I feel like you kind of just have to play where you don't really care as much about that. Drake could kill a Kumaken. Master of the Hunt could get overwhelmed by Hounds. Like, I feel like if you do that, you're basically counting on a lot of things to go right for you. Um, right, and the Hounds player get into a bad spot, things like that. Um, with the right map, IHA could absolutely pull it out. Do I think he pulls it out more often than Sheep does? He goes the Akumaken Master of the Hunt route. Mm, it's still a lot of beef for to get through. Torn, Brute, Grounds, Cross. I think there's enough beef that I think IHA pulls that out. I think there's just enough beef for IHA there. So and I think IHA is clever enough to see that particular play. Uh, very close though. I could absolutely see Sheep pulling this one off. Um, get some good roll. Like that really comes down to if Sheep gets some bad margin found rolls. I think that matchup can screw him over really badly. But if he gets some good ones and some kills early, like it could be tricky for IHA. But I think between Akumaken and Master of the Hunt, I think he can do a lot of damage. So um, next in my bracket, we'll go back and look. Okay, so we'll swap back over and take a look at that real quick. As you can see, I actually predicted both of them incorrectly. Sheep bringing in the Stingers and IHA leaving his army as is. So, I don't like going into this matchup. This looks. I guess the thought was that he needs the Stingers in case. I mean, maybe he was expecting the Akumakin Master of the Hunt play, which I mean, And if that happens, it's a lot better for stingers. So IJ played correctly into the stinger play, it looks like, but we'll see how this actually ends up turning out. Krav lead off, just running around. Doesn't look like he's actually killing much of anything. Did you have just some bad dice? Yeah, and it looks like, oh, did kill one here, but yeah. And Nikita's, the hounds ignore. Yeah, I don't love that he went with Nikita's here. Um, well, and he's already lost two stingers and a Samu. Wow. Was that from burning himself? Let's find out. Oh, damn. Oof. Okay, did the crowd do that, or did... I think he just burned himself. Just painful. Like, I don't think Nikita's needed to come out here. I think he needed to play Brute Guts and have them come into the fray. It's because Nikita's don't, or Karn or something, because like the Nikitas you want for your end game against yeah, look at this. This is just, yeah. The hounds are just getting hot and killing stuff. I think you really needed it for, yeah, I think you wanted this would be a much better time to have Nikitas running around. I didn't like them as a second wave. Uh Rygarn's running around trying to stay alive. But nope, guys. Stingers never did anything, so honestly, I feel like Drake was fine there, so it worked itself out. Um, okay. Well, IHA did not play the army that I thought he was going to play, but it also looks like that army would have actually been worse into the army that Sheep had. Well, nah, since it was mostly, um, now it's hard to tell. Real quick, because I just spaced on that. Pouncing Wolves versus Baron Scapius. Um, so here, Pouncing Wolves and Baron Scapius has the micro super build. Eltail doesn't do him any good here, so he swaps in Laglor, and then I think whichever filler gets him there, so it's like 25 points, so I don't know. Whatever you feel like doing here, but like, yeah, and then Pouncing Wolves, Black Wormlings don't help you. You basically just have to go with this, and it's not a good matchup for Pouncing Wolves. Glide Blast just is not, they don't, Microcorp Troopers are just too good into Glide Blast most of the time. Because they can kill the glads. Like it's and with Lagler you can basically force the battle to happen wherever you want. Scapius, I think. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Scapius. I gotta give this one to Scapius. So, all right, me versus Chris. I'm the so. Um, I ended up being wrong about both of the winners of these matchups. So this was a Moonknight versus uh Swarm game. And if we flip on over to it, this is what the setup looked like at the start. Real quick, Boreos is in play. For the like, I feel like he sat Boreos way more than he should have. But Valango Breach said Chronic Furnace. Yeah, this is the army that he needs to be playing because yeah, Lilja. Honestly, I think there's an argument to play Lilja over Breach just because the Shatter build. But Breach also does throw just an insane amount of dice. And then he brings Warforged, Altahale, Nikita is basically the same build as before. The fact that, what did he have real quick? Did he have it? Okay, yeah. I don't know. Raylan might have been helpful here, but yeah, with how many of the things there were. So let's just take a quick look through this game. Leading Nikita's, trying to kill Boreos. Like, and Nikitas aren't killing anything. At this stage here, Forest is taking one wound. Yeah, I think you just have your Warforged to start doing stuff. Oh, Elzahel came out and played, and I don't love this placement at all. Elzahel needs to be attacking Talon Goal. Have your Warforged fight these things. I don't love this setup. This is just Moonknight's just running away with this because yeah, Elzahel, yeah, just none of this stuff is working. Yeah, this is all yeah, yeah, this is just not great for Swarm. Basically let the whole army sort of cross the battlefield. Just yeah, this is rough. I feel like if you're gonna have your Nikitas launch early, you need to. Do you just get bad dice on Boreos or something? Let's take a look. I mean, he's throwing some pretty good dice there. Oh, and that's really painful. So, okay, so he did get some bad dice with Nikitas. I almost feel like I would have just led with a bunch of Warforged. He's not going to be running after me. And then once I've got him all like tangled up, then I bring in the Nikitas because yeah, Warriors can do some shenanigans. And just look at this. Yeah, this is just really a hurtful setup for yeah. So yeah. Oh, I guess Boreos since he counts down. Yeah, he counts down. So this is yeah. So yeah, not great for English fallacy. I'm actually one of Chris's not less good matchups. Cathar and Krav are both really bad for Templar, and my agents aren't that great. Brute Gruts don't really help. Lagalore helps a tiny bit with giving the agents a better shot at firing into his stuff. I think against Chris. If I was to fight, if I fight Tommy, I'm actually contemplating the Necrotech just because with only nine, yeah, I'm contemplating playing Necrotech against Tommy. Against Chris, I think I just go Swarm Raylan. Boost my odds of everybody surviving. Um, and just try and win the long game with Krav and stuff like that. I don't know. I think I think I win more often than not versus Chris with that, but it's no means a guarantee, especially if he swaps in Laglor for Swazel and a squad of Templar. Um, or even, yeah, because Regrets don't do him any good here. Um, but Laglor and a squad of Laglor, two squads of Microcorps and three squads of Templar, very losable for me, but I think he just doesn't have, like, if my Krav knock his Microcorp agents down to like 3 or 4 figures, it needs, or and if he tries to bring the Krav, like, it's definitely a sequencing game a bit for the both of us, but I think more often than not I win that. So I'm gonna put myself in here. I think I win that more often than not versus Chris. Now Sir Artorias. Okay, so I ended up playing Tommy. I ended up bringing in the Necrotech. will show you what the matchup looks like. Again, this one was one that very that you can actually go watch the full game on my channel. Start with on the end of the video that I have here. So I'm just going to give a quick rundown of this. Brought in Necrotech. He didn't change his army. Kind of what I expected. I did expect for him to play Krav, which he didn't, but it ended up not mattering because let me show you here. So he puts Rail in there. I win initiative, which I actually don't love that winning initiative meant that I was able to go here. I got 4 attacks down. One of them was an 0 for 4, which means that she only leaves with 3 of 5. That'd been a 4 for 4. She's dead here. He runs with Microcorp agents. They don't kill anybody. But I managed to kill Raylan, and he moves up Awashia and does some stuff. Now, the problem is I want to win initiative here. I don't. And this whole nonsense happens, and he manages to be able to cut me down to I only get one of his micros with my crop. I wanted the like if I'd managed to kill like 2 or 3 micros here, I feel a lot better about this. This is our setup. He runs up, he basically manages to do all this here. He puts a wound on my Necrotex. I don't know if this was the right play to put her here. To go and attack her here. It ends up not mattering because I do actually manage to get some stuff in. Kita comes in, does stuff. Manages to kill one of my Necros. I run in here. I don't man, and here's the thing: I don't kill any of these Necros. This is where I don't. And the Necros don't kill any of these micro creators. That really hurts. I get like 3 or 4 opportunities to. I run in Cathar. Da da da. I managed to kill one here. Kita comes in and just, I think, kills like 3 Cathar at some point. Like, is this the sequence? Yeah, there's a sequence where I throw so many dice at Cathar and kill none of them. It's very brutalizing, and that's kind of what ended up causing. Yeah, then we call it here. I have 2 Cathar left, and the Raider. Sorry, I have 3 Cathar, and he still got all his agents. Like, I had this Necrotech, but like, Washia is still unharmed. Kita is still unharmed. It's kind of amazing. So, you know, Tommy got some just incredible rolls for some of this stuff. There's the sequence. Like, yeah, I go 3 for 3. Nope, nope, nope. Turn 1. But yeah. Okay, here's watch this. Is this the sequencing? Yeah. Okay, so like no, no on the 2 attacks I get. Save, save. I kill 1. No. No, 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 no. No, no, no. So then here, no, 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 no. So you'll notice 4 turns, I get 3 to 4 attacks. I'm sorry, 5 turns. About 3 to 4 attacks on most of them. Yeah. So and just no deaths. Yeah, and then he just kills me off here. So that whole sequence there, it just was really bad. Like Tommy got what he needed. He played it well. Didn't give me a chance to really come back from any of this. Um, we both made the plays, and he just was the one who got what he needed. And he ended up going on to get to the finals. But yeah, so let's get close to finishing this one off. Versus Sir Heroscape. Sorry, let me swap over to the put myself in there. And Sir Artorius versus Sir Heroscape. So Sir Artorius has got this Death Chaser build, and Sir Heroscape has got the Troopers build. With Lacklore. Now, you can definitely play some games to kind of spread out, but the problem is that between Krav and Chasers, and Chasers Kuznak, I feel like he needs to get really lucky. Like, he could swap, and if he swaps in Warriors of Ashra, like, Sir Artorius' Krav and Maversa both are really solid options into into the meta for him. So like I think Sir Artorias pulls. I think in the Battle of the Sirs, I think Sir Artorias pulls it out. Um, there we go. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at that lovely bracket with 0 correct people in the final 4. Good job, me. Good job. Let's take a look at the actual game itself. So uh, he went with the Ashra, um, which are a bit of a pain, but I mean, and looks like Chasers, Krav, Raylan, Nirak. Play actually, I think, would have been Maberxa if you're gonna bring. Well, I don't know if I think you can bring Maberxa. I don't know if you can. If you can't, then Nirak's fine. But I do honestly think that Hoothneck might not have been a terrible option to play here. But anyway, what I believe ends up happening is that the Asher just are an absolute nightmare to take down, and he actually doesn't have great options for it in this build. I think he should have played. Yeah, I don't think Raylan helps him as much as just needing to do Maverxa, um, because yeah, I think that's the play is because then yeah, and you just use your chasers Maverxa and Nirak, try and kill as much as you can, prob to finish out the game. And so I think that kind of put him in a bad hole from the beginning. But yeah, and this is the position at the end of the game. I don't think, did you get bad? How'd the dice look? Ooh, that's some. You got all these dead. Yeah, yeah. Because I think the play is. I think you need to have Maverxa and um. Yeah, I think that's the play. So, oh well. Since I don't have any of the others correct, I'm just going to tell you right now that I did watch these final games. Summary of this game: Sir Heroscape tries to assassinate Moonknight, fails, very nearly loses the game, but he manages to pull it out by the skin of his teeth. MegaSilver gets incredible dice and just absolutely makes the game from a potentially close and interesting matchup into Microcorp just annihilate everything. And in this game, Sir Escape spends Mega Silver puts his Krav into vulnerable spot and then just never recovers from that. Also, Raylan takes a bunch of wounds early from little ping shots from Sir Escape. And that is those things. So I'm going to finish out the video with my remaining picks, but just know that everything that I say from here on out is completely wrong as to what actually ends up happening. So enjoy the next 6 minutes. Me versus IHA. I've played IHA in just about every tournament that's existed, so this feels right. I think against me, IHA basically, you want Karaf, you want Nikitas. Master of the Hunt doesn't do you too much. Akumakin doesn't do you too much. So I think you probably just keep with this. I think I swap in. I think I have to do Necrotech, and if I can get Necrotech to take out some of the Krav and Nikitas, I think I pull the rest of it off. There's just not enough stuff to do it. And that feels decent odds, so I actually think I win this more times than not. I mean, Krav and Nikita can absolutely do lots of damage. But I think if I bring in Necrotech, he just doesn't have good answers. So I think I pull that one off. Um, okay, so swap back to here. So after that, it is Scapius versus IHA, and I think Scapius is, well, Scapius is Altahale. And Altahale can do a lot more damage to this combination of stuff. And I think that's the thing, is that I think Scapius, because I think Scapius, the play here isn't to do Laglor stuff. I think this play is to keep Altahale in. Uh, use your troopers, try and whittle them down, and have Eltahale just run around cleaning up. Keep the chasers away from that. I mean, Clover is still a really good option for Sir. I think Eltahale can. Oh, he has some leftover chasers and reverse. It's basically the same matchup, but with Eltahale. Well, the reason why I didn't like um, so why would I like having two squads? Why would I like Eltahale over having two squads? I think it's because Eltahale can kill the Bonders. And if Eltahale kills like Kuthnak or Nirak or Verxa, which is very easy for her to do, and I think she can also kill a bunch of. I think Baron Scapius barely pulls this one out more times than not, but just because Eltahale is a lot more versatile, and I like her a lot more than the three squads of Asher that I think just can get wrecked by Maverxa or Crop, and that's the thing. Eltail can sneak around Crops. I think I give this one to Scapius, and I very much was like, this could easily go to Sir Artorius. So, final matchup is me versus Scapius, and not gonna lie, I'll be honest with this. Scapius is very good, and no, sorry, Scapius' army is very good into mine. Um, I because I mentioned about the aforementioned crop, I don't have good and basically Altahale can afford to take some hits from Krav and do her stuff. I I don't have great answers against Scapius's army, even more so. Like Heroscape's army, I can kind of play some games with. Uh, so really the question is going to be, can my defense hold up? I think Scapius wins more often than not, so I'm going to have Scapius as the overall winner. Um, so I just think that army plays better into mine. Now, do I think this is what's going to happen? No, but I think if this scenario got played out 100,000 times, I think this would be the most likely set of outcomes. So we're going to overwrite, save that. And let's, oh, sorry, let me show real quick here. So we've saved it. Uh, we'll see how accurate I end up being. I have no idea. Like as you saw, with so many of these things, I was like, this could easily go the other way. But yeah, we'll see. All right, I'm gonna call that there. Thanks for watching. Uh, catch you around.